Beyond and welcome. Beyond Nation to Podcast Beyond, episode 134. I am Ryan Clements, editor on IGN.com. I also have a very loyal Beyondier. Beyondinian? Interesting. Anyway,
Beyondite.
Colin Moriarty over here from the Guides team.
Y'all?
Then we have Colin's fearless boss, Mark Ryan.
How's it going? I'm actually very much in fear of Colin.
And then we have our never sleeping, always working, fantastic news editor.
Hamburger eating,
Jim. Jim, how you doing, buddy?
Good. I had a hamburger for lunch.
Yes, and I had a chicken sandwich, and it was quite tasty. You will notice that our fearless leader, Greg Miller, is not here right now. I apologize in advance for everybody that instantly closes this podcast.
He's dead weight, the dead weight of the show. Anyway,
Probably.
So, yeah.
And so we have to do it in his absence because he is covering an event right now. So Podcast Beyond must go on without him. I'm going to call this episode the Greg is Gone and Ryan Has a Terrible Hangover edition because that's what's happening right now.
Do you have a bad hangover?
Oh, my God. Like you would not believe today. Today has been pretty miserable.
What'd you do last night?
Last night, which was a Thursday night, always a bad idea to go out on a Thursday.
Yes,
I don't know why I keep doing that. But there was a special event. There was a farewell party for a PR person that I'm close with, and I'm good friends with this guy. He's moving to Japan today. Amazingly. It's like the farewell party the day before.
He's living your dream, Clemens.
Living the dream, and he's off to Japan with his fiancée. Very nice. So we all had to obviously wish him well.
So we got nice and hungover for a 15-hour flight.
Yes.
Well, actually, he was smart and didn't really drink a lot.
Oh, okay.
He was doing it the right way.
That is.
Well, you know what else is the right way? The Roper Report. Down for some news.
So Greg's gone today, as you know. We've already gone over this, so I'm going to do the Roper Report today. So just deal with it.
Deal with it.
There's a lot of news this week, though. This would have been a really good one for Greg. You know, we've had some slow weeks before. I'm not even sure where do I begin.
Well, why don't you begin from the top?
All right. Well, the first thing that I thought would be interesting to talk about is how apparently 3D games on PlayStation 3 are being scaled down.
Uh-oh.
Have you heard about this, Jim?
Yeah.
Why don't you tell me a little bit about it?
I had someone else write up the story for me, so I'm not totally full in the details. But as we know, when you're adding 3D effects to a game, it affects the graphics.
To graphics?
To graphics and the performance of the game. So it runs at a slower frame rate to make the image, whatever it has to do to be 3D.
Right.
To do that. So those games aren't final. Those are demos. It's my understanding. So we'll wait and see when the updates, if there are updates for those games come out.
Right.
What happens? But at the time, they're running slower than they were before.
Right.
3D. So
the specifics in the story say from Chris Burke. Who is Chris Burke? I'm not sure who that is.
He's Scott Lowe, who is our gear editor. He's, I believe, his intern.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, this basically says that the examples they have are MotorStorm Pacific Rift has dropped from 720p to non-HD resolution when they run it in 3D, and that Wipeout HD runs from 1080p to 720p. So
everybody loves the wipeouts.
Chris Burke does say, though, that the real interesting thing will be when games are actually developed
Yeah,
in 3D
they've
natively.
been showing those demos since CES. I'm pretty sure they're the same demos they've been showing. So
Did the story mention frame rate at all?
I'm pretty sure Wipeout.
I just dropped it on the ground, so I don't know.
I think Wipeout went from 60 to
I don't
30.
care about this
60
news
30,
anymore.
I think.
Okay, because I was talking with Omar Kendall, who's like the designer of the UFC games, and for whatever reason they were bringing, or people were asking them about if they're going to be 3D in your UFC game, and his response was sort of kind of like ours, like what for?
Right.
But he was saying that their game runs at 60 frames a second, and if they were to do 3D, it effectively means that you have to run the game twice.
Right.
And so then the game would just, by nature of being run in 3D, drop down on 30 frames per second.
Sly Cooper 3, if you remember, had the 3D option, and if you've played it in 3D option, it would move slightly slower than.
It ran 5 frames a second.
Yeah, it didn't run very well. So, but these were tech demos. We'll see what happens when full games come out.
Right on. The next thing is that I thought was interesting. There's so many interesting things that happened this weekend.
Lots of stuff.
Is that Sony has been sued, class action lawsuit, for removing Linux support from their PlayStation 3. Mark,
oh, man.
have you read about this?
My friend Grant was right.
Yeah.
Wow. Way to call it, Grant.
Apparently, it's an issue of security versus piracy, and they're suing somewhere in the realm of apparently $5 million for injunction relief, obviously, and then compensation for the removal of the feature. Mark, do you think Sony owes these people anything?
Well, I mean, like 99%.
Right.
Maybe even more, 99.97,
98.
96, 97, 98, somewhere around there. That percentage of people that bought PS3s don't give a crap. But the people that did buy a PS3 specifically for the purposes of putting Linux on it, and I don't even know what people do with Linux on a PS3. I honestly don't know. But if you bought a PS3 for that reason, it sucks that they just took that feature out. Or you can not update your PS3 and then basically not have access to any of the online features or play certain games online, like Final Fight, which I understand you have to be connected to PSN for it to even work.
Yes,
Right.
it's true. You have any thoughts on this, Ron?
I feel bad for the people that this screws over.
Yeah, I mean, it is a minority of people, but it is interesting that it was a selling point for the system, and then they just kind of arbitrarily removed it.
Kind of like backwards compatibility.
Yeah, kind of like that. That's a really good point. But apparently, the real argument is that Sony's arguing that it's for security reasons that the PlayStation 3 can be breached, and obviously the people that are suing think it's actually because they're afraid people are going to pirate games.
Another issue on that is just them changing the end user license agreement from the updating that. So it's one of the topics in that lawsuit.
They're not like Facebook where they send out a notification to everybody like we've updated our end user.
Right, but if you wanted to buy a PS3, an older pre-slim model, new, there'd be no mention on the box that hey, you can't run Linux on this. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with that.
We'll see.
Sony had no comment on it. They don't comment on legal proceedings.
Yes. Okay, another interesting thing. We'll throw this to you, Clemens. David Jaffe has said that he's not going to be at E3 this year.
Woo.
And what does that mean?
That means, I guess, no Twisted Metal?
Yeah, or whatever his new game's going to be. He said, do not expect it. He's not attending, and he would obviously attend if
something crazy was happening.
So maybe we'll see it later.
No craziness.
It's kind of a bummer.
Are we excited for another Twisted Metal game? What's the word?
I am.
I think it would be cool.
It's been a long time.
I tend to like Twisted Metal on occasion.
I think Twisted Metal 2 is one of my favorite PS1 games ever.
Twisted
I love
Metal
that.
3 is better.
No, it's awful. I bought that game. I beat it like the first day I got it. But I was just thinking, man, this is so bad because it has the Rob Zombie soundtrack.
Yeah.
And you get stuck on the last boss, and it just keeps playing the song over and over again.
Most people hated 3, but I liked it because it had 4-player split screen, which 4 had as well, but 4's frame rate was abysmal with 4-player split screen. So 3 had useful 4-player split screen, and you could flip over cars.
Yeah, that was bad though.
No, it was cool when you get in really competitive matches, flipping over people. Oh, it's awesome. It's awesome. But yeah, I understand everyone hates it, so I'm sorry.
Well, I'm excited to see what the next one has in store.
Yeah, me too. And I think it's pretty clearly going to be a Twisted Metal game, although they obviously haven't announced it. Yeah. That's everyone's speculation, as it were. Jim, I have your story right here on the table about violent video games in the California lawsuit that has gone to the Supreme Court.
What
is the First Amendment, Jim?
Oh, this is the what is this news about? I'm sorry.
Jim, you wrote the story. It says, by Jim Riley.
I don't really remember what the story was.
Jim is a machine. He processes the news and then he moves on.
I have 3 lawsuits on my desk. Okay, this is the one with, the over the California. Okay, all right.
Yeah,
yes.
2005, Arnold Schwarzenegger, governor of California, signed a law which was deemed unconstitutional by the Circuit Court and was sent to the Supreme Court. And they're now going to hear it. What do you think?
It's from the people I've talked to. The general understanding is that it's not going to pass.
What do you mean it's not going to pass? It's not going to be overturned?
They're going to just throw it out.
The overturn is not going to be overturned.
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay.
I've talked to both sides. It seems, I don't know, a little silly for both sides. So you have the senator, Leland Yees, basically saying, look, we're just trying to protect children. We're not trying to ruin the industry. Meanwhile, the ESRB, which is partially, or their works in partnership with the ESA, says this is, unconstitutional, like you said. But
what does this mean for gamers, Jim?
Well, I'm 26 years old, so I don't care. But I think the big
not everybody's 26.
What will happen? The biggest impact will be financially from the industry because you have a lot of 18-unders buying M-rated games.
Right.
If this law went into pass, plus the long-term effects of this, if this actually was passed, what could happen beyond just California? Beyond just California. Modern Warfare 2 sold how many? I don't know how many copies. 15 million copies. So how many of those millions of copies were from 17 and under kids? I think money is the big point of this lawsuit or this thing here.
Right.
I don't know. We'll see. It's not going to be heard until the fall at the earliest. I think.
That's
October.
what it says. And in my opinion, Leland, the state senator of California, is a big baby. And the First Amendment covers books, movies, and music, so obviously it's going to cover video games. They're going to throw it out, obviously.
Yeah.
Colin Moriarty's opinions do not reflect those of IGN Entertainment or its subsidiaries.
How many places can you buy games without them checking your ID. Like I know GameStop, they will check your ID.
Right. Well, it's not illegal to buy a game.
I know, I understand that. So like, what would the effect be if, say, the law did pass? And, like,
they'd be fined.
Yeah, it's a $1,000 fine.
Well, or I think minimum, or that was just a figure thrown out.
Right.
yeah, but again, I'm suggesting that if already the majority of places do card people, if the law were to pass, the effect of it might not be great. I think that the industry's opposition to it is less over the effect of it, the financial impact, maybe, and more about just them retaining control over what they regulate, being self-regulated.
Well, right. Well, what's that? If this were to pass, like then, is the government deciding what is a violent video game, or are they going to have to just throw out the ESRB and make a whole new government rating system? I don't think anyone wants that.
No.
So
Exactly.
Because the government occasionally does not understand video games.
Keep it self-regulated. I'm all in favor of that.
Yeah, as Ronald Reagan said, government is the problem. So something that only I would be interested in is that Capcom has trademarked Mega Man Universe, a new name. I assume it's not going to be anything interesting. But it sounds to me,
expect the unexpected.
yeah, it sounds to me like it's either going to be one of two things. It sounds kind of like a compilation, which would be cool, or it sounds like it could be a Mega Man Legends remake.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
I would love
a
a Mega Man Legends 3.
I remember Legends. That's the one with like Tron Bon or whatever her name
and
was,
the
right?
Serbots and stuff. Yeah, it was on There was two of them on PlayStation, and they were very good games.
Yeah.
They're probably really the only non-core ex-Mega Man games that are really good. So we'll see what happens with that. The other story that I printed out here, written by our Japanese correspondent Anoop, is that Sony in Japan is offering to upgrade anyone's PlayStation 3 to 250 gigabyte hard drives, but they have to pay for it. And apparently it says it costs 18,000 yen. Now, I'm not a calculator, but apparently that is also the price.
$180.
That's a PSP 3000 price point, yes. So that's pretty interesting. Maybe they'll give us that offer here. Of course, you remember that Chris Roper, the immortal Chris Roper, made a video about how to install a new hard drive in your PlayStation.
So basically, they would just be doing the installation for you. That's
yeah, you send it in, you give them the money, and they'll hook you up. Even if you have a 20 gig hard drive, it's the same price.
It's not a bad deal.
No, not at all. Not at all.
It's not a great deal either. You can get your own.
Yeah.
I was actually just looking into this yesterday. You can get a 2 terabyte hard drive for about $150.
You do not want to get a 2 terabyte hard drive and put it in a PS3.
No, you don't. But you could.
I'll tell you, I don't know. I've heard a lot of horror stories about how some of recent technology, at least, some of those hard drives, especially from certain manufacturers, once you get into the terabyte realm, it's a high probability of that hard drive failing.
You're a technophobe.
No, I'm not afraid of the technology. I just want the technology to be refined before I dump all my data onto it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But this drive that I was looking at specifically was a Seagate, which is usually pretty pretty respected.
Yeah, I'm just I don't want to bet. I don't want to.
I don't think you need a
names.
terabyte of hard drive space on your PS3 anyway.
No, probably not.
You don't even need 250
I'm just saying that $180 or whatever, $200 for this service, you could do better yourself.
Agreed.
If you have a screwdriver.
There you go.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Colin, take it. What else we got?
Are you a Dead Space fan?
Yes.
Did you see the Dead Space 2 trailer?
Not yet.
No? Anyone see the Dead Space 2 trailer?
Parts and bits of it.
I saw the end of it when Greg was watching it.
It's very cool. You guys can check that out on IGN.com. It's up. It's cool. It's very cool. It's very exciting.
I saw Fran fretting over staying up late to translate.
did.
Such a nerd.
Yeah.
But at the same time, as nerdy as it is, it was pretty awesome the amount of effort he put into that. He translated a bunch of Alien script in the trailer, which apparently reveals a bunch of little factoids and tidbits and whatnots and hoo-has and
And this and that.
all sorts of things.
Cool.
Ooh, this and that. That would have been
Yeah,
good.
and this and that. Exactly. Yeah, I'm excited about that game. That game looks really cool. Super Street Fighter 4, Mark Ryan.
Okay.
How is it?
It's Super Street Fighter 4. It's Street Fighter 4 plus 10 new characters.
Cool.
So if that sounds awesome to you, then it's awesome.
More balanced, with any tweaks, or would you say about the same?
To be honest, I don't play Street Fighter 4 at the level where I would have noticed the tweaks. I mean, from what I've read, there's some slight changes, like Ryu in the last game. If he did an uppercut against a guy that was jumping in and like they traded hits, he could then juggle with his Ultra Fireball. And from what I understand, in this new game, that doesn't work. So that's sort of he's considered one of the best characters in Street Fighter 4. So that sort of brings him down, I think, a little bit.
Gotcha.
Right on. Well, the game apparently has shipped 1 million copies already, so it's going to sell 1 million copies fairly soon. So people are pretty excited. It's also cheaper than the normal game, isn't it?
It's $40.
It's not a bad deal.
That's actually not bad.
Not a bad deal
I'm
at all.
fairly happy with that.
Just a quick note. We don't really know anything about it, but the new Call of Duty game has been named the Treyarch game. It's called Black Ops. Apparently takes place in Cuba, Vietnam, and the Arctic.
Yeah, I think if I forget where I read this, it was like maybe on a retailer website, but it seems like it's going to traverse like the whole time frame from World War II to the Cold War.
That's what I was going to ask.
So
What
you'll be
time
playing
period?
different eras.
Okay.
Vietnam, Cold War, World War II. So I think you're going to be, going through a timeline of,
Right on.
of war.
I'm excited. I actually like Treyarch's games. I think they get a bad rap for no reason. So we'll see what happens with that. That comes out this fall. Bungie and Activision, they got married. Clemens, can you tell me about it?
Oh, man. So I don't actually know the specifics because I didn't read a lot of it yet.
I'll break it
Because
down for you, Clement.
Oh, okay. Because I'm kind of sick of
Here I
hearing
am.
about
I
all
get
this
out of
stuff.
bed at 8. I get out of bed at 8 o'clock. I check my phone like I always do. I see emails saying Activision and Bungie, agreement. And I just flip out.
What does
And
the Jim Riley flip out look like?
It's just like, whoa.
It looks exactly like that.
And by the way, our own Ryan Geddes wrote a really interesting and funny editorial
Yes.
about all that. which you should
News is
check
good
out.
when my hands start shaking.
Yeah.
That's when you know it's good news. But
Wow.
no. So they Activision and Bungie agreed on a 10-year publishing deal. Bungie, as far as is known, will be still independent. They're not buying Bungie. They're just publishing their deal or publishing their games for many games they make for the next 10 years.
It's a long time.
Yeah, but they have Reach coming out in this fall.
Is that
so,
only in the United States? Their publishing rights?
No, it's I would assume worldwide.
You would assume.
I don't like this.
Activision is a global company. What? So yeah, that's all they pretty much had to announce was that they're going to publish their. It's going to be multi-platform games as well.
Yeah, so PlayStation, that's why it's important to us. PlayStation 3 will finally get Bungie games if you care about that kind of thing, although you won't be getting Halo. Not that you care.
When I interviewed those guys, they said their games would be platforms that make sense for the game they're making. So.
So
they're
iPhone
making
games.
a JRPG.
So I imagine if they're making a first-person shooter, it'll probably be on PS3, Wii, or PS3, 360, and PC.
Yeah, it's such a lame answer because
But-
it's like 360 and PlayStation 3 are really pretty much
Well,
the
I mean,
same.
they probably don't even have,
So-
like their game isn't even probably anywhere near done.
Right.
So we'll see. But
And Jim, speaking of interesting things with Activision, update us on what happens with Infinity Ward this week. The exodus has continued, has it not?
yeah. So I believe the count, the number of people
Jim
that
is
have left
so angry.
Activision. No, I just trying to remember. I don't even remember Monday or Tuesday of this week. So the count of people that have left Infinity Ward reportedly is at 26 or 27.
Yep, 26.
And about half those people have gone to Respawn Entertainment, which is the studio that broke off when Wes and Zampella, who were the founders of Infinity Ward,
That's a clever
were
name.
fired. Yes, very clever. So yeah, that just keeps happening. They keep absorbing or poaching, as they would say, employees from Infinity Ward.
Right, and now there's a lawsuit, right, by some ex-Infinity
Oh right,
Ward
yes,
employees.
this lawsuit. That's where you're going to. I see.
Yeah.
So a group of 38 Infinity War employees, both who used to work there and still currently work there, filed a lawsuit over unpaid bonuses and royalty payments from Modern Warfare 2. Activision called that meritless, that lawsuit. So we'll see what happens with that.
Okay.
I think they're seeking lots of money. It's in upwards of $100 million to $500 million. So yeah, there's just every week there's a new lawsuit on this story. It's,
Can I be a part of that?
do you work at, or did you used to work at Infinity Ward?
No.
Probably not. No.
I can pretend.
Yeah, let's pretend.
Yeah, so every week it seems to be there's new details coming out of that
All right.
situation. It's just very messy.
Right on, yeah,
Unfortunately.
That saga is very interesting. That's like something an industry book might be made of one day. So we'll see what happens with that. And there's two last pieces of news that wouldn't interest anyone in this room except for Greg if he were here. Was one, Infamous 2 domain registered, and so the announcement must be imminent, probably at E3
Probably
for
at
Infamous
E3.
2,
That makes sense.
which is going to be awesome. And also Fallout New Vegas. First preview is on the site now. Eric Brodvig went and saw the game.
Oh,
It
yeah.
looks very cool. It sounds very cool. It has a hardcore mode, which I'm very interested in.
And sounds like you might be doing a guide for it.
Yeah, you can imagine that I'll be doing that guide. And what sounds cool about the hardcore mode is that even bullets have weight in the game, and you have to eat and drink to stay alive and stuff like that. So it sounds very cool.
Wow. Even more sim-like than the last one.
Indeed.
I'm
So
definitely have to read that preview then. I did not know that.
yeah, the preview's on the site. You guys might want to check that out.
Can
It's
you
got
hunt
images
alligators?
and stuff. I don't know if you can hunt
My
alligators.
fear originally with
snakes.
this game,
Maybe.
my fear was it's going to be just Fallout 3, just like a mod, new stuff to do with the same look. So yeah, that actually interests me.
The game definitely looks the same, but there's a
Yeah.
lot of cool. They have a picture of the Hoover Dam, which is cool. Apparently, it's operable, and that a lot of the game takes place around it. And also, New Vegas is a city that was untouched by the nuclear holocaust. So we'll see what it looks like.
Did they have like a giant bubble around the town when the?
No, I just think
nukes went
I just don't think the bombs ever went off around there.
Oh,
So.
interesting.
Have you been to Vegas? It's in the middle of nowhere.
Makes sense. All right. Well,
That's it.
first of all, I do have to say, I think we should all give Colin a small hand for that phenomenal little
thank
rookie
you.
report
That
there.
was a-
Not part of your usual tasks, and
No, it's
yet I
certainly
think
not.
you
That was
I
a
think you nailed
cacophony
it.
of news.
That was. I'm sorry. I'm no Greg Miller,
Good call.
Watch your
I thought you
language.
did fantastic.
but I did my best.
thought you did fantastic.
Thank you.
So, guys, I have a story from a reader named Landon
Okay.
that I need to lead into real quick. Okay.
Right on.
Landon is writing this, so when I say I'm talking about Landon, not Ryan Clements. Okay. About a week ago, I had to go to the hospital. Nothing big, just a checkup of sorts. As I stepped into the elevator to leave, an older woman stepped in behind me. I gave her a friendly nod and asked her what floor, since there were only 3. She said ground floor, and I pressed the button. Just as the elevator started to descend, it stopped. I was confused and pressed the button again, and just when I was about to press it another time, I heard yelling above me. Some dude says, "The elevator's stuck. It's going to be a while before the workers get here." I was annoyed, but fine with this. I had no place to be, but the older lady in there with me really started to freak out. She was constantly telling me how we were going to fall or run out of air. I assured her even if we did fall, we wouldn't be hurt from this height, and there was plenty of air in there. After about an hour, she was flat out crying. I tried to comfort her, but it didn't work. Just when I thought it would be hours before we were going to get out of there, I heard someone walking on the top of the elevator. He stuck his head into the emergency hatch and said, "If I were to look for new games about this week, where would I go?" Where would he go, Colin?
You go to the official IGN list of upcoming PlayStation software on all 3 platforms by the IGN editors.
I think if I was in an elevator for an hour, I'd start crying too.
That's amazing.
Was that? Come on, that was the best lead-in we've ever had.
That was really good.
Do you solicit these things?
What?
Do you solicit this fan fiction, or
This fan fiction.
I think that was entirely made up. But
That was pretty awesome. So actually, we have some games finally coming out for the platforms after the
Thank
past weeks. Super Street Fighter 4, as we mentioned earlier, came out this week. Charles gave it a 9. Mark Ryan likes it. It's only $40. Dead to Rights Retribution. Greg gave it a 6.
It's a good score.
Nier came out, the Square Enix game. Are you reviewing that?
Yeah, I'm reviewing that. It's ugly, man. I apologize to the developers, but that is not a good-looking game. But it's been fun so far, so we'll see.
Okay, well, the review's forthcoming, so keep an eye on that. Clemens will tell you what's up. And FIFA 2010 World Cup came out this week. Nate gave it an 8.3 on PS3. So, and I talked to him at lunch the other day. He really liked it. Nothing on PS2. On PSP, all right, so there's some interesting things going on here. You might have been right about Harvest Moon Hero of Leaf Valley coming out when you said it did, I think, a couple episodes ago. Now, here's the thing. Our site has it listed as April 20 that it came out. But GameStop says that it came out this week, so I have no idea about that. Also, Blood Bowl, GameStop said it came out, but our site says May 4th, so I have no idea if that game actually came out or not. So those 2 games may or may not be out. Also, What Did I Do to Deserve This, My Lord 2 for PSP came out. And FIFA 2010 World Cup came out for PSP 6.0. Nate didn't like it very much. The other games don't have reviews yet, but keep an eye out for them on IGN.com.
Hell yeah, thank you, Colin. Also, on the downloadable front, we have Record of Agarist War. This is stuff that came out yesterday, so you guys probably already know this. But in case you didn't check yet, Record of Agarist War for $44.99. That's like a full Japanese strategy game, strategy RPG. Kick-Ass for $14.99. I believe Levi just reviewed that. Was not too happy with the game adaptation of the recent film.
Okay.
Also, PS1 classic, we have Star Wars Dark Forces. We have a couple game demos, including a game demo for Wakeboarding HD. Then the next Blue Toad Murder Files episodes are available. I don't know if anybody saw my reviews of the first 3 episodes, but it's a 6-episode series of a murder mystery style party game. I did not like those at all.
Hey,
I thought they were boring.
That Dark Forces game, is that the original first-person shooter?
It
game?
sounds like it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a...
Wait, no, I don't. I don't know. You're Kyle Katarn, ex-Imperial Army
Yeah,
personnel,
I think that's right.
works as a mercenary
And
for the
I can
Rebel
play it
Alliance.
on my PS3?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, you
It's
can
a
download
classic?
that. It's $6.
$6.
Oh, that's totally doable. In your
what were you
budget.
expecting?
Come on.
At least 5.
What? It's $5.99. That's 99 cents more than you thought.
Might check it
She
out.
just spent $12 on a cheeseburger.
It's cheaper than a sandwich.
Anyway, also there's a Mag First Attack gear pack that's free that comes out today. The Just Cause 2 DLC, yesterday. The Just Cause 2 DLC was out yesterday also. The Black Market Aerial pack that introduces a new jet fighter, a multi-lock missile launcher, and also a parachute that has little thrusters on it.
Cool.
So Rico can just go flying. There's other stuff too. The Mega Man 10 stuff.
Yeah, the rest of the
right?
DLC came out, 2 more stages, and Endless Attack. I wrote a hands-on for it.
Yeah.
It's on the site.
So there's some pretty neat stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that wraps it up for the PlayStation Store. Do we want to pick any of these things? What are we thinking?
I don't know. I guess Super Street Fighter 4 would probably be the.
Oh, yes. I mean, compared to those other things,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't
Or
think.
maybe What Did I Do to Deserve This, My Lord, too.
I was gonna say, yeah.
I don't think anyone wants to pick whatchamahoo's-it, Kick-Ass, even though that movie is very entertaining.
Yeah,
I thought that movie was
I
fun.
think I can't see it. I just can't do it.
Can't see it?
No,
Can't
I
see
ju-
the movie?
I
Yeah.
don't go to the
Why
movies
not?
anymore.
The name is just it's too much for me.
The
Well,
name
it's-
is abysmal.
Well, I mean, it's
The
kind
movie,
of
I like the movie, but
yeah,
the name
movie
is abysmal.
Yeah, it's
movie's
horrible.
fun. All right. Well, now I think we have to move on to a classic segment, Reader Mail. Correct?
Reader Mail, yeah.
We're not gonna do a topic of the week because we're running a little low on the times.
On time.
And also, this can be a topic of the week, right?
Yes.
Let's see. So first of all, Chad wrote in to Beyond and said that he loves the bouncer, so everybody has to open up the love and stop the hate. I agree with Chad.
Yeah, I
I just
agree
wanted
too.
to include that in there because everybody was bashing Bouncer recently.
I saw this email too, and I
let's
totally
see.
agree with that. Bouncer's not that bad.
All right, so this one is from Josh. He says, Beyond.
Beyond.
At the end of May, I'm treating myself finally to a next-gen system and picking up a PS3 for my birthday.
Good choice.
Excellent choice, Josh. What is the best racing game you can recommend? Gran Turismo is too hardcore for me, understandable, and the license tests can go screw themselves. Makes sense. I've always been a fan of the Burnout series, so Paradise is an obvious choice, but what about MotorStorm 1 or 2, Dirt 1 or 2, Split Second, etc.? Any suggestions? Thanks.
I will say-
All terrible choices.
I will say.
Whoa!
Well, no,
Whoa! Easy.
I will
What-
say is-
what's a good choice then? Those are all good games, right?
Mark Ryan loves Gran Turismo.
I don't know. I have a special affinity to racing games, and I like them highly technical. So I like the Gran Turismo games, but I also
But he's
really
not
like
hardcore, man.
I also really like Wipeout.
HD?
Yeah, Wipeout HD is quite good.
Okay. So if you, Josh, if you want something that's futuristic, you could get Wipeout, and that's a very good game also. I thought it was much more approachable than something like Gran Turismo. I mean, it's kind of more arcadey. I mean, you're not really doing a lot of tweaking to your vehicle, right?
Well, no, you don't
Your
do
hover
any.
cars?
It's all about.
Your carses?
I don't like games where there's basically no consequence to bouncing off the walls, or generally just not being good at the game.
Yeah, remember what was that game we played? Remember like 2 years ago when we had to make that video? And I was just like driving and bouncing off the walls, and I like made like the record time or whatever. And then I tried to do it on Gran Turismo,
Yeah.
and like I just flew into like the distance every time. That game is really technical. I would stick with Gran Turismo. Personally.
I will say, as someone who does not like racing games whatsoever or driving cars in games, Burnout Paradise is awesome.
So exactly. Burnout is a game for people that don't actually like racing
When you
games.
boot that up and it plays that Guns N' Roses theme, man, just like, damn.
Jim got pumped and his hands started shaking. Also, as a side note, everything I've heard of Split Second so far has been fairly positive, if you don't mind arcade racers. So that you might want to wait for
I have
that
no
one
problem with arcade racers.
No,
I love Ridge Racer. Love Wipeout.
Okay.
You can buy Burnout
Just saying.
Paradise for $30 on PSN, right?
Yep.
I thought it was 20 now.
No,
isn't it?
whatever. You just
Yeah, it's
cheap.
cheap.
You don't
Yeah.
have to go to the store to buy
Dirt
it. You
cheap.
just buy
Just
it
sit
at home.
there at home.
Yeah.
All right, so here, let's do one from Jason. He says, hey guys, love the podcast. Thank you. My brother just got Super Street Fighter 4, and it's kind of made me wonder why Capcom didn't just release a patch or expansion pack. The reason I ask is that a lot of people are going to trade in their old copies and flood the EB GameStop shelves with pre-owned copies of SF4. Isn't the gaming industry trying to prevent used game sales by offering patches and DLC? Keep up the good
Yes.
work.
Yeah, it's probably not built
What do
into
we
the
think?
architecture of the first
But
game anyway.
I think Capcom, if you just look at their past history of releasing games, they always release a second version of a game 6 months or a year later. So that's not. No one's surprised by Super Street Fighter 4.
Yeah, I mean, the Street Fighter games have always, they've been kept active by a really hardcore, community that plays these games competitively, and I don't know, maybe they would have been totally accepting of downloadable characters, letting them into tournaments and stuff like that. But I don't know. I think that releasing it as a whole new game sort of lets people come at it from just
Like a tournament perspective, too?
yeah, from the way that they play the game. So if you have this game, Street Fighter 4, the base version of Street Fighter 4, and then you figure out which characters are best and which moves work against which, and then they change this game, that screws shit up. Sorry. That screws stuff up.
Oh,
man.
no.
29 minutes in.
No, I mean Capcom always does this. They always release new versions of games. It should not be surprising to anybody. I mean, look at Resident Evil 5. They have Gold Edition now. They did
Yeah.
No, they've always done. I mean, it's not even
Yeah.
new for Street Fighter. I mean, Super Street Fighter 2 was the the third time they released that game on
Turbo
Super Nintendo.
Edition and
Yeah, so I mean, I think it's.
Does it make them more money to be able to offer it at a higher price? I mean, like, I know $40 is a good deal, but that's still that's more money than if you were to offer like a $10 like character pack or something.
That's true, but I mean, I guess my point.
DLC doesn't sell that much though. I mean,
I think
the end
it'll
of the day.
sell more in retail.
I mean, they shipped 1 million copies. They're not going to ship 1 million DLC, whatever.
Plus, I mean,
you can't ship DLC.
Well, we're not going
man.
to get, you know what I mean.
I'm not too technical, but I mean, if they hadn't necessarily intended to do that with Street Fighter 4 in the first place, would they really be able to install 10 new characters and like do all that stuff easily, like
Well, I
via
mean,
DLC?
if the architecture is not set up there for it, no. But I mean, they could have just as well set it up for it.
Right. So
I mean,
it's still cheap. It's still $40. Who cares?
All right. Good talk. Good talk. Andrew from Scotland is trying to figure out whether he should buy God of War 3 or Heavy Rain because they both came out sort of in a
I
similar
played both
time
of
frame.
these back to back recently, so that's a tough decision.
What do you think, buddy?
I would go with God of War 3.
God of War
If you had
3?
to pick one, only because there's stuff in that game you've never seen before in any other game.
But he says that he
Oh.
really likes a good story in games, though.
Yeah,
It's
stay away from
God of War's story is awesome.
really?
No.
And no. All right.
I still go with God of War 3. Like Heavy
Okay.
Rain story is good, but it's not like amazingly good. I know that sounds so dumb, but
Well, I mean,
Heavy Rain's
right.
cool though. I like Heavy Rain.
Everything I've seen of God of War 3 has been a total disappointment for
get
me.
both.
so
Get both. I get both.
You could
Sounds
get
like
both.
you haven't even played it.
Yeah, that's true.
And neither have I.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, I'll reserve my judgment, but it sounds like a lot of the people in the office have really enjoyed Heavy Rain, as opposed to like God of War, sort of, oh, it's good, it's just more of the same.
Right.
So, your call.
No, God of War 3 has some amazing parts in that game that you've never seen before in a game.
Okay. I'm sure it's cool, and I'm glad you liked it. So let's move on to Tragic Magic. I like that name. Hey guys, I have a bit of a dilemma. I'm a 19-year-old Aussie male and have yet to knock the boots. My problem is that I'm a heavy-set man, and whilst I have plenty of girls that are friends, I can never get the relationship to go further despite my advances. So, Beyond Crew, what do I do? Cheers.
What is he talking about?
What does he want?
How to hook up with girls.
Jim.
Let's give him some advice.
Can
Jim, you are actually
Can
a
we-
surprisingly adept Casanova, so...
we say masturbation on this show?
I guess you just did.
You just
It
did.
is a word.
Well, my advice is either I would just masturbate. If you have to email Podcast Beyond to ask how to hook up with girls, I would just stick to masturbating.
Oh my god! Can I is that okay, Colin?
I don't know why you're asking me.
That's fine. Well, I need some feedback here. Can
we could ask.
keep this
We
on
could
the
ask.
show?
We could ask Greg.
Oh man. Well, Tragic Magic. Here's what. All right.
Do we have any other advice?
Look,
My advice will come from a K-pop song. Okay. Well, the guy starts the song by giving you 3 rules. He says 1, put on something nice. 2, don't be nervous. And 3, just be yourself.
Right.
That's what he says.
And 4, play some nerdy JRPGs when she comes over. And that will really get into it.
Yeah. So, confidence also, just a side
Also,
note.
if you masturbate before you talk to girls, it makes you less nervous.
You really? Is this happening? Why are you saying it over and over? Confidence, man. Tragic Magic. Don't listen to Jim. Confidence goes a very long way when interacting with ladies.
Take
They
care
like
of
it.
yourself. Make yourself presentable.
Yeah, that's really all
Like
you need
me.
to do. It's fine. Hey, just as a side note, heavy set, not necessarily a bad thing. Just keep yourself healthy and look good, and you can pull off any look.
Smell good too. Ladies love
Yeah,
smell.
definitely.
Yeah, I know some heavier dudes, like especially from college. They had gorgeous girlfriends, so
Yeah,
it is all
for
about
sure.
personality.
It's a lot about
if a woman
and
is going to
and
judge
cleanliness.
you, yes, if a woman is going to judge you based on just on looks and superficial things like that, you don't want anything to do with her anyway.
Here's what you have to do to get a girl.
Well, it depends on what
all
you're
you have to
looking
do, all you have to do is just get her laughing and just listen to her.
Yeah.
You don't really have to just pretend to listen.
Thank
to her.
you
All girls
for
want
some
to do is just
genuine
talk
advice.
to you.
That's totally not.
So
That's not a. That's a dangerous blanket statement to
no.
make.
Has
All
he-
girls want to do is just talk. That is not what Jim
So just
thinks.
nod and think about
He's-
something else, and then you'll be fine.
All right,
He,
well,
Did you learn that from the 40-year-old virgin?
Huh?
The 40-year-old virgin has
The
some
movie?
fantastic
Yeah.
I don't remember.
advice.
I don't remember anything.
Off topic. Sorry, was that a little too loud?
Yeah, I was
All right, sorry. All right, here's one from Inane Asylum, a writer,
He
a
is a
listener
writer.
that is constantly written in. That's what I wanted to say. Inane Asylum wants to know, since 3D is apparently not going away, if you could have one game be done absolutely phenomenally in 3D, what would it be?
That's a
Nothing.
good question.
Nothing.
Don't
Colin does
give up
not
hope
want
that 3D will go away.
anything.
It
All
will
right.
go away.
Yeah, I think 3D's dumb. So,
Okay.
Same with motion controls.
Fair enough.
Hey, remember 6-axis controls? What happened to those?
Well, layer is what happened to that.
Oh, man, we haven't talked about that one in a while.
Imagine if Tetris was in 3D.
Huh.
It already gets into your head. You're already seeing blocks for days after a 15-minute
true.
session of Tetris. What if it was in 3D?
What if?
Mark Ryan's eyes went wide for a little bit right there. It was pretty awesome.
It was a sarcastic wide, though.
All right. So here's a note from Max. I mean, he's talking to Colin because Mark Ryan isn't always on the podcast, but I think this kind of applies to both of you.
Okay.
Max says, I know this hasn't got anything to do with much, but I really just wanted to thank Colin for all the hours of pain and frustration you endured while writing guides. I recently played FF3 on DS, and I wouldn't have been able to complete it if it wasn't for you. Did you do that guide?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Although I don't agree with his trophy thesis, I still think he should be awarded for the help he's given to everyone who's ever read one of his guides. I'm sure there are a lot of people who agree. Anyway, take care. Have a great week, Ryan. And I love you? Wait, what? I didn't read the whole question, so I was surprised by that. Also, he says, P.S. Air Jordans, $50, great price.
Ugg boots, too.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
I will
Yes.
say, I don't know how anyone can write a guide, Colin.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Or
pretty
Mark.
amazing, guys.
don't know.
I would not be able to
It's
do
just
it.
something. You know what? I mean, I don't talk about it very often, or whatever. But I mean, Mark and I have been doing this for a long time. It's almost like something you just do at this point, right? I mean, like you
Yeah.
approach
You've
a
gone
game.
into Nike mode.
Yeah. Yes.
All right.
We just do it.
Yeah. We just approach a game in a certain way. And it's a very formulaic fashion, and we're technical writers. I mean, that's kind of like.
Can
what we
you
do.
even enjoy a game though anymore? I mean, can you,
there
like,
was a
if
time
you're
when-
not writing a guide for a game, can you just sit down and play it and enjoy it? Or
There
are you
was a
always
time when
thinking,
I
like,
had difficulty doing it. I think Mark still kind of has difficulty enjoying games.
Well, I don't think that's related, though. I mean, there are some times when I'll try and play a game just on my own, and I'm instinctively checking every corner for
Right.
secrets. I'm like, wait, I don't need to do this. I don't care if I miss the.
You're going to develop obsessive compulsive, man. You got to watch out.
You know what brought me out of it were trophies.
Trophies?
Yeah, because before that, I loved playing certain games like Galaxy or really good games, but when I got home, I would want to read or watch TV or whatever and stuff, and so something drew me back into gaming for fun, and it was really trophies or whatever. And then I
That's
realized
awesome,
that games could be fun again, apart from writing guides. I mean, because Mark and I have been doing this for 8 years almost.
A long time, man.
So,
Mark Ryan, you must be approaching how far away are you from the 10-year mark?
Oh, I've been at IGN 6 years now.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
I
We were
started
freelancers.
freelancing.
Oh,
a
that's
couple years
right, the
before
freelance. I always
Yeah.
forget about the freelance.
That. Yeah.
not that anyone cares, but my 1 year is next month.
you excited?
Really?
Yep. May 20.
Only 1 year?
20,
I feel like you've been here forever, man.
May 29th, I was in my first, or 28th, I think was my first day.
Congrats.
So.
I had no idea.
Do you want to know a little factoid about Ryan and I?
Let's do it.
We started work
yes.
on the same day,
Same day.
July 16th, 2007.
I wore a suit.
You did wear a suit.
You were still your first day?
Wasn't
Yeah.
I the only senior editor there too that day?
Yeah.
We had 3 new employees and nobody was there.
Because everybody was gone after E3. It was terrible. Oh, man.
It's real nice.
Also, Ryan Geddes was started on the same day.
Yeah, get us.
Yeah, yeah. So going back to reader mail, George wrote in and actually was just thanking me because he had never played a JRPG before. Or sorry, he'd never been much of a JRPG fan, and apparently I was thanks to his recent obsession over Lost Odyssey, which is interesting because that was only it received mixed criticism.
I love that
But-
soundtrack in that game.
Yeah, yeah.
It's good.
So he says, just wanted to thank Ryan for turning me on to some awesome games, and Eternal Sonata and Final Fantasy 13 are next.
Don't do it.
Eternal Sonata is awesome.
Yeah, Eternal
whatever.
Sonata is good. Final Fantasy 13.
Thank you very much, George. I'm glad that I could help you find some cool stuff. Let's see what else we got here. There's man, some of these knocking boots questions that
Yeah,
we
why
got
the hell
in.
are we even getting these?
Because I mean,
Because you guys are
Mainly-
obviously players.
mainly because
Clearly, but I mean-
mainly because of Greg, because they do knocking
Oh,
boots
right
on
on
Game
Game
Scoop.
Scoop.
There is one in here that I really wanted to read, and then I just realized that it is extremely inappropriate. So
I know which one you're talking about. You should definitely not read that one.
Yeah,
It's worse than
see.
Jim?
Yes.
All right. So we have another. Let's do one from Kevin. Kevin says, Sup, Bromo Sapiens. Firstly, Beyond. Second, I know that Greg and Colin are both big Infamous fans, so I was wondering what you guys would want as a new ability in the sequel. Personally, I would like the ability to charge items with electricity to either use them as a trap for enemies or just throw them at people. Also, since Clements wasn't a fan of the first game, silly man, what improvements does he think could be made so that he would enjoy the game more? Thanks, Kevin. Colin, you want to weigh in on this?
Well, you're going to say
Well,
something.
I'm just now playing through Infamous 1. I'm enjoying the game. And I'm trying to think, like, I'm not really sure how much more they can make this game better with the sequel. Like, I don't know what you can do to make this game.
Oh, I
Besides,
agree.
I don't want just another open world game where you run around and electrify things.
Well,
Like,
it's going to be open world, and he's definitely going to be electrifying things.
I just want. I think you need more stuff.
I think it would be cool. I think that what they could add to the game, since there's a time travel element to it, is the ability to
There's.
to the story. Sorry. Spoiler. Year and a half old spoiler.
All right.
Well,
Well, now I'm curious to see where this goes.
it's not a year and a half. It's like a year. No, the story's good. And I think it would be cool. Like, you guys play Braid?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it would be cool if, like how you can kind of go back in time as much as you want, or whatever, but like have little bursts of going back in time to manipulate like enemies and things like that, because that would seem to make sense in a game like Infamous 2. But you know what? They don't have to do anything in that game because it's going to be brilliant.
Look, no, to be
If it's
honest,
anything like the first one.
I would be much happier if they just worked a little bit more on their facial and character animations.
Yeah, I think the
because
graphics
I
a
think-
little rough.
Yeah, those were a little rough around the edges, so I think they could clean that up a little bit.
I also don't want to see a lot of side missions where it's just like, oh, you have to go destroy
thing.
the alarms off this building.
Yeah, those are the
times.
worst.
Or
the cameras.
escort these guards, or try to find the hidden package. Like, what? No, this is dumb. We shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
What do you want to see anymore? You don't want to see Infamous
What
2.
was the original question? What new powers do we want?
Yeah.
I want the power to eject the disc and
You have
suck
that
in a
power.
Street Fighter
You
game.
have that power. Hey, our last piece of reader mail comes from The Ugly Machine. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And so The Ugly Machine wrote in to confirm that she is in fact a girl.
Okay.
We were not wrong in that assumption.
Okay.
And her question is, let me find it. With Nintendo's announcement of their 3DS, how long do you think it'll take Sony to come up with their own version? E3 is coming soon, and I'd like to know what are your thoughts before you get any solid information. Or maybe after E3, I'll write again if I remember to. What do we think? Is Sony going to do a 3D handheld?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I think it's going to be really interesting to see what Sony does with the handheld. I mean, like, the PSP has not really worked out very well for them.
Whoa. PSP is sold. I think it's like 60 million.
The system itself has done great.
Yeah, the software
when you're not comparing it to the DS, it's sold very well.
Okay, but
It's
you make
doing
money
very
on
well.
the software.
Yeah. Okay. They'll work on for the next PSP. They're definitely going to be cracking down on piracy.
I don't know that that's necessarily the biggest problem, but I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Sony takes a completely different approach right now. I mean, I think they want to be in the handheld portable space, but maybe they'll go about it with their cell phone business more so than with a dedicated gaming machine. I don't know.
I agree with that. I don't think we're gonna. I really don't think there's gonna be another PSP. You know,
I think we'll see PSP 2 at TGS.
Really?
Yep.
At
It's not,
TGS?
it's not going to be 3D, but I think what I would like to see more of is more connectivity with PSN Network and PS3, like being able to just basically take whatever I want from my PS3 on the go, pretty much.
That would be awesome if they had some way to.
There's no reason why they can't do that now with the PSP, though, right? I mean, that would be awesome.
Well, I want to play Chains of Olympus, but I don't want to play it on PSP. I want to play it on my screen.
Right.
So if I could just if they would just make games that I could just transfer back and forth. Like,
I don't think they need a new system for that.
Interesting. All very good thoughts
Yes.
in the
What do you
world
think,
of Beyond
Ryan?
Reader Mail.
But no,
I don't
they're
have
not
thoughts
going
on
to do
this.
3D. As you read
I
on
don't care about
IGN
3D.
when they announced the 3DS, we had an interview with John Kohler, who's the hardware PR guy for Sony. He said they're focusing on console home
Yes.
space 3D.
There
So-
you have it. So anyway, I wanted to thank all the readers for writing in. That was great. And if you want to send us reader mail, send it to beyond@ign.com. And next week we'll probably have even more of Tay reader mails when we have more time. We are running pretty short, so we're going to move the show along with a little thing called the PSN hit. What do you say, Colin?
Yes.
Does that sound okay?
Yeah, that sounds great.
I'm going to do a dual hit today because
Cool.
I missed one a long time ago.
Okay.
But first, here's the first one from Gabe. Gabe sent in some awesome photoshops of us as our favorite, some of our favorite games and such. I don't know if you can see because it didn't print out well, but they're pretty great.
Is that one?
I love your. No, it's not as good as that one, but I love yours.
Resistance one.
In this Photoshop, Colin has been photoshopped into a soldier being like mauled by a chimera. I am. He photoshopped my face as Cloud, and Greg's face has been thrown onto Cole in Infamous.
Cool. We'll have to get. Is there a bigger version of that we can put on the wall here?
Maybe. And actually, so Gabe, if you want to send in like a high-res JPEG, we'll post it in the podcast room. But in order to thank Gabe for his fantastic photoshopping, his PSN ID is RabidWombat9, which is fantastic.
That is fantastic.
That's RabidWombat 9, all one word, no underscores. Thank you, Gabe. Second PSN hit. Sorry, wow, I guess is this just too loud for you?
Hold
on 1 second. Where's Colin's
No, it's fine. We're almost done.
Yeah, well.
You just scared the little bit crap out of me.
Now I feel bad. This came from Don. Don is. Oh, this, by the way, tell me if this sounds familiar to you, Colin, because I think Don might be trying to pull a once-over on us.
All right.
But he says, "Hey Ryan and Beyond Crew, big time fan, long time listener, first time writing in, yada yada. So my girlfriend has been playing some Uncharted 2 and Modern Warfare 2 online, and she's enjoying them both. She doesn't have enough friends on her list, and she'd like to be hit of the week to get some more. She'd rather have the more mature crowd who actually has trophies to compare with, who won't ask for her pick every time they see her online, etc., etc. Love the show. Thanks so much." And also, his girlfriend is a big fan of me, specifically because we both love Kingdom Hearts. Yes, Kingdom Hearts for the win. Don's girlfriend's PSN ID is Princess Ponage, which is an awesome name.
That is a great name.
Ponage is PWNAGE, in case you were curious. Also all one word. Also, PSN confirmed. It's weird when
Why do you think he's pulling one over on us?
Because I feel, so to explain that, I could have sworn that we have never had Princess Ponage as the PSN hit yet.
No.
Maybe it's just that I had like added him and his girlfriend on my PSN list like a while back, and maybe I got my wires crossed and thought that was like a hit of the week or something.
Okay.
I think that's it. I'm sure Don didn't have any. He wasn't trying to screw us over at all.
Just quickly, if I may add a note.
Please.
A lot of people message me on Facebook and PSN or whatever, and I'm sorry if I don't get back to you. I try to answer everything that, even if they're just silly messages or whatever. I try to answer everybody, but I do it like only once every month or so. So I apologize if you mailed me, and I'll get back to you about that. Moriarty-IGN on PSN.
There you go.
Oh yeah, if you send me things on Facebook or PSN, which my account is Jim_Riley, send a message. Don't just add me or send me a request. Give me a message. Send me something. Entice me.
There you go.
To accept.
Mark Ryan, do you want to play with any of the listeners online on the PS3s? Do you even have a PS3?
I do own a PS3. Yes.
Do you have what's your name? Do you want to give it?
What is my? Is it just
Mark Ryan?
Yeah. Yeah. It's just Mark Ryan.
What is it? Turns to Colin.
Wait, is it Mark? Mark, one word?
I believe
Ryan?
it's just Mark Ryan.
Yeah, but this is the thing. Mark Ryan first of all, Mark Ryan pwns noobs in fighting games, and he gets a bunch of friend requests and hate mail, and he doesn't accept. He has like a bunch of hanging friend requests on his
Yeah,
list.
it's because I don't know who people are.
So if they
identify
introduce
yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
themselves,
Just send a note. Say who you are.
if they say like, "Hi,
fan
my
of your
name
stuff or whatever, I don't know.
is like John, and I'm a listener of Beyond, and I want to play you in some Street Fighter."
Yeah, if they tell me a little something about themselves.
Okay, little
Right.
story.
Like if it's just some random person, I'm like, I don't know who you are.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind having random people, and it's no offense to anyone that doesn't get added to my list. It's just that there's no room. It's totally indiscriminate. Like if there's a space open, the first person that sends their friend request is the person that's added. That's just the way it works.
There you go. Well, anyway, that's going to wrap up the show soon. I encourage everyone to go to iTunes, download the show, go to our boards, and check out all the community that we have built up there. There are a bunch of Beyond listeners that play games online that you should check out. We didn't have any tournament winners this week.
No tournament winners.
Maybe next time. Also, IGN has a Twitter. You can follow us at twitter.com/IGNcom. There's no dot. I know that confuses people.
Yeah,
it's
some
just
squatter
IGN.com.
has IGN. We're gonna get him, I think.
Can we say that?
What?
Nothing. Never mind. Also, we have a Facebook page, facebook.com/IGN, where our own Scott Bromley posts a lot of fantastic videos of us doing tomfoolery around the office. Quite good stuff. So please continue to spread the Beyond love. It is in your hands, Beyond listeners. You have to do it for us.
Did you hear about the Facebook success story yesterday?
Did not.
Okay, I know this is Halo, and I hate to mention Halo on your guys'
That's
podcast.
okay. We talk about Halo a lot.
But
Bungie's multi-platform now. You can say it.
Exactly. Well, we were giving away Halo beta codes yesterday, and they were giving them out all day. And then Scott had just one left at the end of the day, and he posted up on Facebook and Twitter to meet him and Jessica Chobot at GPS coordinates, and he would give it to him.
No way.
Yeah.
Yes. It was at this bar just down the street where a bunch of IGN
Is that
people
claim First
were.
Amendment?
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was.
No, it wasn't.
This is what he told me.
Okay. Anyway, so yeah, he put up the GPS coordinates, and he said that he saw some guy running down the street, started recording him because he's like, "This is him, and it was him.
That's awesome.
And he didn't even stay for a drink or anything. He just wanted the beta code and then ran home so that he can go play it.
Did he introduce himself? Did he do anything?
Oh,
I gotta
don't know.
watch this video.
Yeah, you're gonna have to watch the video.
That
but
sounds so
I think
fun.
that's a pretty good reason to be on our Facebook page.
Yeah, we do get. I mean,
Definitely.
we do giveaways. Is that what the word is?
Yeah, giveaways.
Giveaway. There it is.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had a
Hyphenated,
little
right?
bit of a brain stall. You know.
Okay.
It's one word.
I just think it's funny because Brownlee told me about this last night or whatever, and I was like, I just think it's funny. This isn't a closed beta or whatever. It's just temporarily closed. Like people can play the game, I think, in 3 days.
Yeah.
And they can't
Well,
they
no,
cannot
here's the thing
wait
is,
long
to
enough.
play the beta in 3 days, you have to have the ODST disc.
Yeah.
You get it for free, but the codes,
come
you
on.
don't need the disc.
Which
Everybody
sold
has
like what,
ODST.
8 million copies?
Yeah.
So-
Everybody has
That's only 3 or
ODST.
4, but yeah.
I love the image of the dude running down the street.
Has that been posted? Has that been?
I don't know. I want to see. I've seen the picture of him with Jessica in the bar or whatever, but I have not seen the
Didn't
video.
even stay for a drink after he claimed his code. Anyway, okay, so you know what we do at the end of Podcast Beyond, don't you guys?
We scream really loudly.
No, we don't. We don't do that anymore.
No.
But
There was a time.
Yeah,
what
there
we
was a time.
do
Yep.
is play a song. You know what we got for today, Colin?
What's that?
We're going to play a song called Tiny Japanese Girl. And it's surprisingly not as inappropriate as it might sound because it's really funny. But Tiny Japanese Girl is a song by a really underground, little-known group called Slavonic. And they have all their music videos, well, some of them, because I think they've only had 2 singles. They have their music videos done by a Flash animator named Weeble. And Weeble did I believe he did the famous Badger song.
Badgers, yes,
He
yes.
did Look at My Horse, I think.
The one magician one, too. I forget
Yeah,
what
he
it's called.
did Magical Trevor.
Magical Trevor, right,
and
right.
he did some other stuff. Recently did the video for Tiny Japanese Girl. I love this song. It's fantastic. It's so
Well,
funny.
play it. Let's get it
well,
up here.
I mean, you're not going to be able to hear it now,
Oh.
man. It's put in after
Oh,
the show is over.
You're
I'm so
ruining the
excited.
magic.
Anyway, if you do love this song, I highly recommend you go onto Amazon because actually you can buy the song through Amazon as well as iTunes, I think at some point. I don't know if it's on there yet, but it will be.
Amazon is the better music store anyway.
Well, there you
No
have it.
DRM.
There you go.
You
I don't
get
think
MP3 files.
I thought that iTunes stopped some of that stuff.
Some of it, yeah, it still
Yeah.
sucks.
Well, anyway, Tiny Japanese Girl by Slavonic. Check it out. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Excellent show today.
Thank you.
We will see all you Beyond listeners next week.
Beyond.
Goodbye.
Tiny Japanese girl, you're my tiny Japanese girl. Tiny Japanese girl, get out my shoebox, girl. I need to put my shoes away. They're gonna get all scuffed and that. Why you in there, girl? Doesn't even fit ya. I mean, you're small, but you're not a midget, girl.
But I'm tiny like a dormouse, short like a bungalow house, minute like a pixie. You can barely even see me. I can ride around on a Shetland pony, and people say I'm far away.
Well, you are quite small.
But I'm pretty big in Tokyo.
Tiny Japanese girl, when I'm stood next to you, you make me feel so tall. Though I'm just 5'2", it's like I'm stood on a wall or a really big dog. But it's just that you're small, so there's no no need for that dog. Tiny Japanese girl, I find you perfectly sized, and you fit in small places when you're needing to hide. But don't hide from my love.